So we all know that in order to heal a belief about love, we have to bring it out into the light. But what if the belief feels so shameful that we can barely admit to ourselves that we have it, let alone say it out loud and share it with other people? Today, we are going to dive into one of the most powerful, most private beliefs that we can have about love and figure out how to clear it. Hi, love. I'm Carisa Montooth, sixth generation healer and creator of the Overnight Heartache Cure, helping high vibe women heal their hearts and attract love. And today we are diving deep into a belief that many people have deep in their subconscious mind, that they are cursed in love. So we're going to dive into that belief today. We're going to see if you have it in your subconscious, and if you do, we're going to clear it out. All right, so can I promise you that we are going to clear this belief out entirely through a YouTube video? No, I cannot, because that would not be ethical. But what I can promise you is that I'm going to show you how to discover if you have this in your subconscious mind, and I'm going to share a healing tool and use it with you in this video so that you can actually feel the change in that belief while we're doing this work together today. So, first, I want you to understand, a lot of times people believe that God has cursed them in love. And if that is a belief that you hold, we're going to dig into that today. This video is not about changing your belief in God or anything like that. It's really just to do with, respecting the sacred nature of your beliefs and not trying to change anything like that. It's just about helping you release the belief that you deserve to be punished. Okay? And that is something that God is somehow doing to you right now, that God would withhold love from you as a way of punishing you. So we're going to do some really deep energy work in this video. So what you need to do is make sure that you have a glass of water with you. That's really important because water helps our bodies integrate higher level energy healing tools that we use. And we're also going to do a little bit of muscle testing to find the belief in our subconscious minds. I'll help you understand that in just a little bit when we get to that part. But water does help you get a clearer result from your muscle test. So it's good for helping with the healing part, and it's good for helping with the figuring out if the belief is actually there part. Okay, so before we dive in, a couple of things to understand. God is not so cruel as to give you the desire for love with no means of fulfilling it. So please at least allow yourself to be open to that. Be open to receiving that. The idea that God is not so cruel as to give you a desire for love with no means of fulfilling it. Okay? Also understand that there is a light side and a dark side to everything. Right? And sometimes a belief that starts out as a positive belief can become flipped, so that it actually ends up harming you, even though that's not the original spirit or intention of the belief. So one example is sometimes we have this belief that if my heart is broken, if I'm going through a breakup, if I'm going through disappointment in love, if I'm constantly getting my heart broken, I need to learn the lesson from that so that I can move on. Right? That is a noble idea and a noble pursuit of personal growth. However, that belief can be flipped so that we start to believe that we can only learn our love lessons through heartache. So if we say, I have to learn a lesson from this heartache, that positive belief or positively intended belief can be flipped to, I can only learn my love lessons through heartache, right? So that's an example of a positive belief that gets flipped to a negative belief. And with this idea that we're cursed, it can be this idea that like God wants me to be loved. That can become, if I'm not loved, it's because God doesn't want me to be, right? If I'm not receiving the love that I want, it must be because God doesn't want it to happen, right? So we can flip a belief in that way. So first, we're going to check and see if this belief is in your subconscious, and we're going to do that through muscle testing. So a couple things to understand about muscle testing. Beliefs are in your subconscious, your most deeply held beliefs that become the laws by which you manifest your life, whether that is through choices that you're making, behaviors, actions that you're taking in objective reality, or whether that is through the energy alchemy of manifesting new circumstances in your life. The beliefs that you do that from reside in your subconscious mind. They're all in your subconscious mind. That's where 80 to 90% of our power is, that we're creating our lives from. And your subconscious mind and your body are like this. They're super tight. Your subconscious is actually what controls your autonomic nervous system. It's what controls your breathing, your blood pressure, your digestion, your heartbeat. All of that stuff is controlled by your autonomic nervous system. So because they're so tight, we can tell what's going on in your subconscious mind by looking at the way that your body responds to things. So if we say a statement that your subconscious mind agrees with, then your body gets a little bit stronger in response to hearing that statement. And if we say a statement that your subconscious mind disagrees with, your body gets a little bit weaker in response to that statement. And the difference in strength is just about 12%. But we can usually tell through the strength in your fingers. So that's what we're going to use today. Now, there are lots of other ways to do muscle testing. You probably have heard of the arm test, where you hold your arm out straight and somebody has to push it down and all of that kind of thing. If you're by yourself, though, you can use a ring test. Ring tests are super easy. I'm going to show you how to do that. Couple caveats, couple things to remember. The answer you get, the response that you get from a muscle test is not empirical truth. Muscle testing does not turn you into an oracle, right? It's just telling you what's in your subconscious mind. It's telling you what belief you have. So for example, you may be out on a date and you may be thinking, oh my gosh, this person is a cheater. And you might muscle test and get, yes, this person is a cheater, right? You might say, this person is a cheater, muscle test that and get a yes. Well, that doesn't mean that person's a cheater necessarily, because you may have another belief that you haven't tested that says, I believe everyone is a cheater, or I believe everyone will cheat on me, or all men are cheaters. You might have some other belief that is incorrect, and that's what this other belief you've tested is tied to. So the idea that it makes you an oracle or something like that, please set that aside. That's not true. It doesn't give you empirical truth, but it does tell you what you believe is true. And those are the things that you need to heal. If you aren't hydrated, you might not get a really clear test, because remember, we're using our muscles have to contract, right? Our muscles have to contract easily. Electrical impulses are sent along our muscles. And for the conductivity of that to all be good, we've got to be really well hydrated. So definitely drink your water. Not only because it helps you integrate, helps your body integrate the healing, but also it gives you a clearer muscle test. And the third thing to understand is, if you're testing in English, but English isn't your first language, you may not get as clear of a test as you would if you test in your first language. So test in your first language if English is not your first language. All right, so drink your water, and then you're going to get your fingers into the testing position. Now, the testing position looks like two OK signs like this, and then you just link them together. That's your testing position, okay? And sometimes you'll test here. You'll see if you can get a clear test. If you can't get a clear test here, you might try your middle finger and thumb instead of first finger and thumb. You know, those fingers are a little bit weaker, and so that might let you be a little more sensitive to any changes in strength. Okay, so trying it here first with the two OK signs and link them through. You've had your drink of water, so now you're going to calibrate your muscle test. You're going to take a nice big deep breath in. You're going to breathe out, and you're just going to say the word yes and pull one time. So when you say yes and pull, usually your fingers will stay together pretty solidly. Now, you don't have to think about it like I'm trying to smash my fingertips together. Just think of it like you're letting magnets in the tips of your fingers hold your fingertips together. So you say yes and pull, and you only do it once. You don't go pull, 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 pull. You just say yes and pull. And you're not asking questions, you're just making statements. Okay, so first we calibrate by saying yes and pull. We get a strong response. Now we're going to say no and pull, and they come apart pretty easily. No. Yes. Okay. when you have that, you may have some doubts that come up into your mind. You may be like, I think I'm doing this. I think I'm making my fingers do it, right? And it's like, you can just let that go. Let that go. Sometimes you will say a statement and you'll be like, I already knew I was going to test yes on that. And you'll test yes on that. That's just because sometimes you have the same belief in your conscious mind that you do in your subconscious mind. But very often, your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are really, your conscious mind is a very poor judge of what's in your subconscious mind. So that's why we do the muscle testing. So you've calibrated your muscle test. You've got your fingers in that testing position. Now, if we were working together one-on-one in a private session, now would be the time when I would ask for consent to connect with your energy, so that if we needed to do that for any of our energy clearing or energy work together, we would be able to do that. And just as sort of a side note, as a consumer of energy healing or any kind of alternative healing practices, please be aware that a practitioner who is ethical should always ask for your consent to connect to your energy. Otherwise, you may be seeing somebody who's a little bit more interested in their agenda than they are in your soul's sovereignty. Your spirit is sovereign. So your spirit always knows what the healing is that needs to happen, and you're always the one who's in charge and in control of all of that. So your consent should always be asked for and received before anybody does any healing work directly connecting to your energy. All right, so what I want you to test now is the statement, I am single because God is punishing me, and then pull. And see if you got a yes or a no there. If your fingers stayed together, that's a yes. If your fingers came apart, that's a no. Now, in addition to seeing what happened with your fingers, pay attention to what happened in your body. Did you feel like your stomach fell? Did you feel cold? Did you feel hotter? Did your head start to hurt? Did you feel like, sometimes you feel like your stomach will fall out. Sometimes you just might feel a little bit nauseous in response. Sometimes you might tear up. There are all kinds of things that can happen that let you know on a deep level, yes, I do have this belief. This is something that's there with me. So I want you to understand, if you have this belief, that's okay. Because the idea is, it's good news that you found it. Finding it is the first step to healing it. Finding it is the first step to clearing it. So that's great. If you found it, that's wonderful. Because really, it's manifesting in there by default anyway. It's manifesting the things in your life by default anyway. So it's great that you found it, because that means now you can do something about that. So let's do something about that. Let's help clear it out. So what we're going to use to clear it out, now if we were working together one-on-one, I would connect energetically and clear those beliefs, and it's a little bit easier for you in that situation. But since we're not working together one-on-one, and to give you the chance to watch this whenever you like, I'm going to share a tool with you that is easy for you to use, that is something that you can't use wrong. It's not going to hurt you however you use it. You can use it for yourself whenever you like. And it's called EFT. It's called Emotional Freedom Technique. It's a form of energy healing where we use acupressure. Okay, so you've heard of acupuncture. Acupuncture with a needle, right? It was where you tap on certain spots along energy meridians that help to activate your aura so that you're cleaning and clearing stuff out. Well, you can also tap on certain spots, those same spots, in energy meridians that are running through your aura, and you can bring certain thoughts up that need to be cleared out while you're activating your aura to let them clear out. So EFT lets us do that. It's a form of energy healing that uses acupressure, and it is scientifically validated. It's used to help people deal with anxiety. It's used as a thought interrupter for PTSD. It's used to bring in new habits for weight loss. It helps with stress reduction. It's great for all different kinds of things. And most people think of it for that. But we can also use it to create new beliefs for ourselves and to clear old beliefs. And that's what we're going to do. So understand that all types of EFT, or emotional freedom technique, is what that stands for, they're not all created equal. Okay, so there's the kind where we say nice things and then we tap and we feel nice, right? That's fine. But there's also clinical EFT. And with clinical EFT, we are going straight to a belief you want to release, and we are clearing it. We are diminishing the emotional intensity of that belief using scientifically validated techniques, which is a little bit different than just saying, I want to feel good about this and I want to feel good about that and tapping and all that stuff. Because you're clearing this negative stuff out on a deeper level, you may cry. You'll probably feel lighter. You'll probably feel a release. That's the depth of the work that we're doing today. Know that when you're activating these meridians in your body while you say these negative statements, you are diminishing the intensity of them, okay? Sometimes we're afraid to say these bad things out loud because all of these kinds of law of attraction gurus and different people have taught us that when we speak things, we don't want to speak these negative things into existence, right? This is not about speaking negative things into existence. This is about speaking what's already there in your subconscious mind, speaking it while you activate a healing process so that it can be released for good. Okay, so don't be afraid to speak those things because that's how it's going to be healed. You know, if it feels a little bit too intense to you to speak it, you can think it while you're still doing the tapping, but it's not to be done separately from the tapping. The tapping is what makes it healing and not just rumination, right? Rumination is just when we just think the same thoughts or say the same things and it's unhealthy and not good for us, right? So this is a healing process, which means you have to tap while you're doing that. Keep tapping while you're doing it. So the first thing that I want you to do is think about that statement. I am single because God is punishing me. Think about that for a minute. Feel how it feels in your body. Connect to that. And give it a number on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of its emotional intensity. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is not that emotionally intense. 10 is really emotionally intense and it makes me feel like I want to cry, right? Give that a number. Rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. And now I'm not gonna go through all the different points and talk about what they all mean and different things like that because that's not the scope of this video. But we are gonna do some tapping together specifically on this belief. So you don't have to know everything in and out about EFT. You can just go with me and do this together. All right? So on your side of your hand, you're going to tap here. You can do it like I'm doing it with all 4 fingers. You can use 2 fingers. Doesn't make a difference. And you're going to say, even though I have this belief that I'm single because God is punishing me, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have this belief that I'm alone because God is punishing me, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And if you start to cry, it's okay. You can cry. Tears are a release. You know, crying is a cleanse. Even though I have this belief that I'm not allowed to be angry at God for my loneliness, I deeply and completely love and accept myself and all of my feelings about this. And now you're going to go to the top of your head. So imagine you were like a marionette, you know, sitting up straight, and you have a string coming up through the center. That's where you're going to tap. And you're just going to say all this anger. And now you're going to tap right here on the outside corner of your eye. You're going to say all of this sadness. And now right down here, right under your eye, but at the top, there's an occipital bone right here that circles your eye. You're going to be right at the top of that ridge there. I'm going to say all of this loneliness. Right here under your nose, right in that ridge. And you're going to say, crying out to God in my heart. And now you're going to go right under your mouth. And you're going to say, wanting God to take the longing away, so I don't have to feel the pain of not having it fulfilled. And now you're going to tap right here. So you go to the collarbone, feel the collarbone, and then go down a couple inches, and you'll be right at the right spot. Watching others have love and wondering, why not me? Okay, now you can stop, take a deep breath, let it out, If tears came up, that's okay. Deep breath. Let it out. Deep breath. Let it out. And now, check back into the emotional intensity of that. On a scale of 1 to 10, what does it feel like now? Did it go up? Did it go down? Did it stay the same? Sometimes you start at a 10 and you end up at a 5. If that happened, if you got all the way down to a 1 or a 2, it will usually clear on its own, usually within a couple of days. But if you're not down to a 1 or a 2, you can go through that again. We can do it one more time. Even though I have this belief that I'm single because God is punishing me, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have this belief that I am alone because God is punishing me, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have this belief that I'm not allowed to be angry at God for my loneliness, I deeply and completely love and accept myself and all of my feelings about this. Then we're going to go top of the head, all of this anger. Oh, sorry, we're supposed to go inner corner. All of this sadness. It's okay, you won't get messed up because you skipped a point. All of this loneliness. Crying out to God in my heart. Wanting God to take the longing away so I don't have to feel the pain of not having it fulfilled. Watching others have love and wondering, why not me? And then that final point, you're going to say, not knowing what to do for God to finally bless me with love. Not knowing what to do. Because sometimes there's that feeling like I have done everything I can think of to be worthy of love. And still no. So now I want you to take a nice big deep breath. One more time. One last time. And I want you to check back in with the emotional intensity. Where are you now on a scale of 1 to 10 for the emotional intensity of that belief? That belief that says, I am single because God is punishing me. When you say it now, how does that feel in terms of emotional intensity on a scale of 1 to 10? And if you're not down to a 1 or a 2 yet, just rewind back and tap through it another couple of times. It's not going to hurt to do that. You can do it as many times as you like. Okay? I would recommend, give yourself like a 10-minute tops limit. Don't be like wearing out your face with all the tapping. Don't be like, like a hermit or something and all you're doing is tapping and people are like, what happened to her? I haven't seen her in ages. Move on with your life. You have things to do here, like in objective reality. There's a reason that you're human. You have other human things to do besides just focusing on your healing. It's important to remember that because your spirituality is very, very important, but you are embodied. You're here in a body because you have things to do here at this level as well. All right. So, like I said, you can do this until the intensity feels like a 1 or a 2, and usually it will clear out all the rest of the way on its own, which is a cool thing. But definitely remember to drink water. And if you can, get extra rest. Anytime you do a lot of energy healing, the water and the rest help your body to integrate that healing. So, and if you want to go even deeper on that, then check out the Overnight Heartache Cure. It's my audio healing program, and there's a special link for you in the description. And that's one of the tools that you can use to attract happy, healthy, stand the test of time, committed love. So I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments below, were you surprised to find that belief in your subconscious mind? Were you surprised, or did you already think maybe it was there as soon as you heard about it? What was the emotional intensity when you started tapping? How much did it change after you tapped? And now that you are starting to heal it, what changes do you want to see in your love life? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, if it helps you have a shift, then please like and subscribe. And remember that self-love is the best love. So love you first, love you best, and all other kinds of love will come to you. Promise.